Holy crap, they're making a new RoboCop game. The last time I played a RoboCop game was when I was a kid, and it was RoboCop 3 for Super Nintendo, so it's definitely been a while for me. Anyway, we got a trailer yesterday for RoboCop Rogue City that's about a minute and a half long, and it showcases some pretty impressive visuals and a bit of first-person gameplay. We see RoboCop grabbing a thug by the neck and tossing him into a column. We even see a little bit of the RoboCop UI pop up with the green targeting system. It looks legitimately bonkers. And the cherry on top of all of this is Peter Weller will be returning to voice RoboCop. He came back to voice the character for Mortal Kombat 11, so having him here will really complete the experience. The game will release next year in June for PC, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and the Nintendo Switch, and it looks to be a pretty great AA game. And up next to go along with RoboCop is the new Untitled Terminator survival game. It's still pretty early on for this game, so we only got a brief teaser of a T-800 standing in front of some fire. The story is said to take place after T2 Judgment Day and will be an open-world survival game. So I'm guessing something along the lines of Alien Isolation crossed with Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake, where you have this constant threat of a Terminator following you around trying to kill you as you look for ways to defend yourself and survive. Now, both of these games are being published by Nacon and developed by Teon and Nacon's Milan Studios respectively, so maybe somewhere down the line we can get some Terminator versus RoboCop action. I'm crossing my fingers for that one. Next up is news from VGC in regards to E3. Although E3 for this year has been cancelled, we've gotten an update for E3 for 2023 with the ESA partnering with company ReedPop to help organize. ReedPop has organized events like PAX, New York Comic Con, and Star Wars Celebration. ReedPop has commented, E3 2023 would welcome back publishers, developers, journalists, content creators, manufacturers, buyers, and licensors, and also highlights digital showcases and feature in-person consumer components. The company will honor what worked with E3, but will reshape what didn't work. The company's head of games, Christopher Dring, has also said, "We dreamed of ways we could make the event more of a celebration and less like a battleground. We discussed ways to embrace everything that takes place during E3 week, whether they're part of the show floor or not, and that includes things like the PC Gamer Showcase and Devolver Digital's Car Park, and yes, Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest." End of quotes. Next year's E3 will be the first in-person E3 in 4 years, so it'll be interesting to see how ReedPop progresses with E3 and what it'll all look like. Up next, there's been a ton of information dropping for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth via a Famitsu interview with Kitase and Nomura. Now, trying to cover all of the information is a bit difficult because the interview itself is still being translated online. Audrey on Twitter is doing a fantastic job translating this information as well, so I would go ahead and give her a follow. Some of the basic tidbits revolve around the order of locations you visit in Rebirth, and presumably whatever Part 3 ends up being called will be different. So for example, one of the earliest locations you come across in the original Final Fantasy VII is Fort Condor. Early on, Fort Condor is kind of pointless to visit because nothing important to the story happens there until much later in the game. So I could see that area being moved to much later in Part 2 or potentially Part 3. It's important to also note that Nomura has stated that no locations from the original game will be omitted. They've also hinted that Red 13 may finally be playable, which is awesome. Being able to flip and dip around as Red sounds like it would be pretty fun and faster paced gameplay style, so I'm excited to see how his gameplay turns out. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis has also gotten some new information as well. In the trailer we see Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith wearing different outfits. These were believed to be gacha type elements in the game, but are actually weapons for the characters, with many weapons being planned for each character. So it looks like your weapons will change the way you look, which is actually kind of interesting. And finally, Kitase and Nomura have both doubled down on the story for Crisis Core being faithful to the original game with no new story elements being added in, which completely blows off my tinfoil hat theory that the end of the game would be different. Not changing the story makes a lot of sense though, as Crisis Core is part of the original Final Fantasy VII timeline where events haven't been changed like they have in Remake. Also, altering those events changes the impact that Zack has on the story and its events. Remake has only influenced Crisis Core in terms of its gameplay and visual assets. And in our final bit of news, I can comfortably and confidently say that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is without a doubt the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game ever made. It takes all of the really awesome, wonderful mechanics and ideas from the Konami games and even non-Konami games, adds the perfect amount of depth and technique to the gameplay, and a lot of love and care into the animations and the music and the overall presentation to make it just the best TMNT games, but one of the best beat 'em ups I've ever played. So again, if you haven't played Shredder's Revenge, it's available for free on Xbox Game Pass, or you can buy it for I believe $20 on other consoles. So it is without a doubt the best Turtles game I've ever played, and is worth every bit of money you got. Or if you want to play it for free, I would highly suggest it. It comes in around 2.5 hours, maybe 3 if you take your time, but there's tons of replayability by playing as the different turtles and leveling them all up, as well as April, Splinter, and then Casey Jones, who is the unlockable character that becomes available after you complete the game. So that is the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Please leave any thoughts in the comments below on any of the news that we talked about today. I would love to hear what you guys think about all of this new RoboCop and Terminator stuff, and even Final Fantasy VII stuff. So I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.